is it? Okay, we're on. Hello, everyone. This is the first Hacker Hotshots of 2020, which is quite remarkable because it's mid-November, so we're pretty late for our first show. But anyways, we are here with Itai Galmor from Brandshield, and he's speaking from Israel. And he's going to talk to us about Brandshield and about himself and what he's been up to. And he's going to give us a little presentation, some slides, and then we're going to jump into some Q&A at the end. So Itai, take it away. If you can introduce yourself and then tell me when you want to do the screen sharing, and we'll set that up.
Sure. So, hi everybody. My name is Itai Galmor. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer at Brandshield. Brandshield deals with anything from brand protection and online threat hunting. I'm in charge of marketing, sales, business development, customer success, and everything that deals with the revenue.
Okay, fantastic. Do you want to share the slides?
Yeah, let me show a little bit what we're doing.
Cool.
So, as I said, Brandshield is.
Just 1 second. I don't see your screen.
Really?
If you hover down where it says share screen, do you see the little kind of green arrow? If you go ahead and click that, then it should. Yep, that's much better. Yeah, perfect, cool, fantastic. Please carry on.
So, Brandshield does anything from brand protection to online threat hunting. So we know how to find online threats, and we know how to take them down off the air. So if we really want to understand what Brandshield does, we can take an example. Levi is an old-time customer of ours. And you can see here on the screen a website. It definitely looks like Levi's, but I can tell you it's not. It's a phishing website. You can think that is selling counterfeit or replicas or whatever you, but in fact it doesn't. It doesn't, because it doesn't, and we know this because we actually tried to order something for him and nothing came. Nevertheless, they can take details or credit cards, etc., and that's exactly what Levi's has countered in the beginning of the COVID-19. It actually doubled the phishing websites per month, and we managed to take down around 100 phishing websites per month on April 2020, with almost 97% of takedowns. That's what we do. So these are the threats that we're talking about. These are the new era threats that lies in the internet. And actually it makes sense. So since the COVID-19, there was a 41% increase in e-commerce. It's booming, it's exploding. You can see the huge growth of apparel, of footwear, but with the e-commerce, and I'm sure that everybody is aware because we're using much more e-commerce, comes different threats. It comes fraud, customer-facing phishing, employee-facing phishing, and others, right? And we call them social phishing. So it's a mixture between social engineering and good old tradition phishing, which we know from the past. So it's a scam. It's a scheme of a fraud that Brandshield knows how to take care of. And we can see that, for example, just look at the number of domains registered with Zoom or Netflix, or both of the two rising stars of the COVID. You can see thousands and thousands of domains that are related to this to these two brands or to these entities. They're not registered for nothing. These all are attempts in order to monetize on the traffic that both companies have. And you can see, by the way, the peaks and the surging, for example, in September. This is the second round of COVID, and every time there is a surge with a pandemic, it has a direct effect on the scams attempts that the bad people are trying to do. And that relates to actually the magnitude of this phenomenon. We're talking about $12.5 billion of damages that this market is, and this could be $1.4 million in average for a business on a social tech. And most of the organizations are suffering from it. So these are things that we do. Brandshield deals with the online threats that are outside the file, outside the control of the customer. And so regular CISOs are dealing with everything on the left-hand side, right? Viruses, malware, everything that they have firewall and can control. We're dealing with everything, with unknowns. We're dealing with everything that is on the outside perimeter. And the things that you don't know even that they're attacking. They do it, you learn it from it by I don't know, customers are calling you, say, hey, somebody, is this you? You need to send me something. Why did you say this? Who are you? And then you find there was impersonations, there were phishing, there were rogue mobile apps, etc. These are the things, the threats, and the risks that Brandshield knows how to deal with. And the idea is that the chief information security officers, this is exactly what they're about with it. All right, they would like to improve their threat detection, and you can see here that they would like to be more proactive on the threat hunting, and Brandshield does that. It enables to offload from the chief information security, which is the most busy person in the organization with very low resources, always on scarce. It manages. We offer to offload him from him. This we provide proactive monitoring, detection, and takedowns, and we do that with a very with our own unique capabilities, which even if we had enough people to do that, which we see that the lack of security stuff is the most issue these days. Um, they don't have the knowledge. Our specific threats that we're dealing with it on the outside perimeter are something that it's not theoretical, because intelligence is not just, I don't know, theoretical. You need to do something with it. And that's what Brandshield knows how to do. We actually bridge between cybersecurity, the legal, and the marketing teams. This is something that these three departments don't have a lot of in common to talk to on a regular basis. And this is something that always fall between the lines, and we help them do that. We know how to talk with the cybersecurity, we know how to talk with the marketing, and we have special capabilities talking with the legal. Actually, all our enforcement managers are certified lawyers with IP and trademark background. Why? Because many of the claims that you need to take with in order to take down a digital asset can be on from trademark issue, or and this is a new set of tools that we introduced to this market that it's a key differentiator. So when coming to online threat hunting, it's a combination of a skill set, a process, and our own unique technologies, SaaS, AI-powered, big data, it's our own propriety, and we know how to take down assets with many features, all right? So, and this is our multi-layered approach. We analyze the data, we bring a lot of information in, we do prioritization with our own unique algorithms, we have different interfaces, push alerts, portals, APIs, etc. And we take all the actions in the system itself. It creates visibility, transparency, and enables our customers to actually have control on all this process. I could show many examples on the unique challenges of brands online. We know how to take online threats in a very effective manner. Right?
Interesting. That's it.
Well,
Fantastic. Very, very interesting. Really, really interesting stuff. I've got a bunch of questions because what you do is actually really interesting for multiple reasons. One question I have actually myself is, what about the dark web, the deep web? Do you guys also have any kind of what should I say, kind of search mechanism going to the deep web, or is it just the surface internet?
that's a very good question. But Brandshield focus on the visible web and deep web with our unique deep content analysis, image recognition, etc. We don't deal with the dark web for a reason. The dark web brings intelligence that it's not actionable, right? We bring actionable intelligence. We bring intelligence that we can tackle and create remediation, immediate remediation, in order to take down this threat off the air. Dark web concern is about intelligence, investigation, and multi-medium. Let's take it from the online to offline. We don't deal with it. We find threats that we can take action and be very effective.
Right.
That's why we have, and that's why we focus on the things that we can act on.
Yeah. What about, for example, IP cloaking, that kind of thing? In other words, if I'm, if I have a fraudulent shop online selling Levi jeans, right? You guys, I assume, have a bot that goes in. So if I know where your bot's coming from, IP number 123.456, why can't I block you or show you different content? Or do you guys have very sophisticated systems?
It's not working.
Okay, it wouldn't work like that. Cool, fantastic. Right. What are the challenges for CISOs today, in your opinion?
So I think CISOs have become a key persona in any organization, especially in 2020. It's like if somebody didn't know who the CISO is after all the lockdowns, remote work, workspace, remote working.
Yeah,
everybody knows who the CISO is. Everybody needs him. He's a key person now in any organization.
yeah.
I think having said that, the amount of threats that he needs to deal with has not narrowed down because of all the things. On the contrary, expand dramatically. So if he had been able to maintain gated environments, now it's, listen, banks have opened their frameworks to remote working, all right? And this was unheard of, all right? So the landscape of threats and risks that the CISO needs to adapt to and to cope with has increased dramatically. I think that he needs to effectively manage his priorities, all right? He needs to have a setup that he can manage most of the things in a managed way without doubling his workforce, doubling his budget, and to be able to manage this whole threat environment. I think that's very, very complicated these days, and I think CISOs and security organizations, cybersecurity organizations in companies will try to simplify their job. All right, they will not try to stay with the core, with their core competence in-house, and will outsource many of the peripheral things that they can do. Otherwise, they cannot cope with it. That's how I see that, and we see the trend. We see this trend dramatically.
So, if we stick with the CISO, angle here, another question I have is how can CISOs protect their CEO's social profile online representation?
Actually, I think that if you would ask CISOs 1 year ago, they would say, "This is not my business."
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
This is the CEO personal digital assets. I
Yeah,
don't want to get involved. More than that, all the executives don't want me to get involved in their Facebook or Instagram.
yeah,
But today it has changed dramatically because there's a lot of whaling, there's a lot of fraud coming by executive impersonation. We
mhm,
see that a lot in with our customers because they ask us to monitor their social networks executive footprint. So
okay,
they give us their official assets like the LinkedIn profile of the CEO, his Facebook, his Instagram, etc. And we scan the internet and monitor everything that is impersonating. There are cases that we found dozens and dozens of fake entities in Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, etc.
yep,
I mean, dozens. And it's quite hard to find them. It's
yeah,
harder even to take them down off the air because that's you just need to watch what's happened in the last campaign in the US to understand that social networks really don't want to get involved.
mm,
So you need to have a special expertise how to approach them and how to convince them and how to actually provide evidence that you are representing the original one. All the others are fake.
yeah,
These are some of the challenges that we deal on a daily basis.
yeah. How interesting. Does the term bulletproof server mean anything to you? Is that even a term anymore? Because I remember like 10 years ago there was a term called bulletproof server, which I've never really heard anyone ever say again. Does that term even exist? Or is it an
What,
ancient?
like a bulletproof?
The point being that it's I think in Amsterdam or somewhere like that. There's a kind of premise that, like, okay, let's take for example the Pirate Bay, right? I mean, the Pirate Bay is still online. It's unbelievable. They're still online, and they keep finding some loophole here and some legal thing here. And so I guess my
Yeah.
question is, what kind of success rate do you guys have? Because I'm assuming you can't say 100%, right?
No, you're right. There's nothing like there's no 100% or any promise to a bulletproof service,
Yeah,
especially because we are really relying on third parties. All right, we're relying on others that we need to be very effective in proving our point and showing our claim. And but you can reach 97. That's our kind of average reach of the takedown, all the takedowns that we're doing all over the internet,
yeah,
etc. But we're working hard to maintain it. It's very hard, and as I said, we're using our toolbox of claims and skill set is very diversified.
mm,
So if you'll stick to phishing, fraud, etc., it's limited. We have
yeah,
expanded it to different, and that's how we cope with it: trademark, copyright, patents, whatever we can do in order to show that there are infringements that actually and they're a valid claim based on all the terms and conditions of all these third parties. We're
interesting.
working hard, but we take pride in our success.
Yeah, yeah. What about which industries, from your experience, are most vulnerable?
Financial industry, no doubt.
Yeah,
We are, although we serve small offices and enterprise alike, we're specializing in financial, pharmaceutical, even technology sector. I
yeah,
know that pharmaceutical companies have experienced a huge surge in the fraud attempts, phishing, social phishing, impersonation online since in 2020. I know
yeah.
because we have a benchmark. We're serving dozens of such customers.
Hmm.
There have been a great target audience constantly, but in the last year it's dramatically increased. Very natural due to all of us relying on this sector to actually provide the a cure to this pandemic or relief to this. So
what about the social engineering side, like the kind of human side? Because I get the impression that you guys are heavily tech. You know, you're obviously all about the AI, the algorithms and pattern detection, I think, right? Stuff like that. What about the human side? Because to me, phishing fraud is really is, if you put a hard hat on and a high visibility shirt, you can get into any building, right? And then I stick in my USB stick and away we go. So my question is, do you work hand in hand with these guys with sort of social engineering in any capacity?
So yes, as I showed before, we kind of what we do is in the center of interest from in different departments of an organization. All right, you need to have the cybersecurity guys on it to kind of comply, to see what they have, do APIs with their phishing emails, etc. You need to work with the marketing because usually they are the only ones that know what's official and what's not, especially on social media. All right, they are managing the digital asset on social networks. The IT or security don't know anything about it. Only the marketing can tell, yeah, this is our Facebook page. Oh no, this one we opened for last year campaign. Why the hell it's even online? This should have been down ages ago, etc. The legal guys are the ones that actually hold the use of trademark and knows how to cope with, or they have the assets. Physical security are also stakeholders in the process. And when you combine all of them, they are all part of what we call our online threat hunting, which needs to cope with different levels of social engineering, different investigation. There are enterprises that have security departments that hold physical investigations. We help them sometimes with law enforcement, Homeland Security Office, etc.
I was going to say
complicated.
Because I'd imagine from a legal point of view, you need to have like an audit, right? Like an audit trail. So I guess digital forensics becomes important, where you can actually say, you know, we discovered fraudulent content on server address, blah, blah, to give to the legal team, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So indeed, some of our findings, somebody takes them and take other means and measurements in order to kind of close the circle of remediation. So not everything is take it down or take it off the air is sufficient. You need to take sometimes other measurements in order to close the circle in terms of dealing with it, whether it's going to the law enforcement, whether it's suing somebody, taking legal measurements, etc. So,
okay, cool. I've got two more questions. One of them, one is like, if I suspect my company is under an active phishing attack, okay, what should I do? So my company, I feel that there's something not quite right. Do I hit the sort of alarm button and then you guys jump in, or how does it work?
So usually when somebody talks about phishing, traditionally it's email phishing. This is not something that the Brandshield deals directly. But the thing is that after an organization, or this could be a consumer-facing phishing, by the way, meaning it attacks company consumers or customers, right? Once it was launched, the organization has very little things that it can do with it. He can alert everybody. He can close the IP or the URL in his own servers. But if this is attacking his customers, for example, there's nothing a company can do. Besides, by the way, and that's where we come in, we can take off the air these assets. And this is probably one of the few things that a company can do when such a phishing attack is happening. You need to take off the air, take down all the digital assets, whether it's a website, whether it's a social and networks profile, and it's usually combined. So the frauds today are a very complicated social engineering scheme. It's not enough that you will, change your email link in the email. You need to have a website, which is a duplication of the. Otherwise, you need to have a login page. You have to create a fraud SSL certificate. You need to back this up with social networks entities on this fake entity. The customers are getting more and more sophisticated. So the phishing attacks and the fraud attempts are getting as sophisticated as the target audience. So that's what we called a full scheme of a social phishing, and that's where we came in. We can take off the air these assets in order to block it especially.
You've kind of partially answered my next question, which is what lies ahead for Brandshield? What's the future? 2021, 2022 onwards, what's your, I guess, these threats seem to be increasing like your graph showed, right? So what's the future?
I think what we see more and more is a convergence of threats. So so what used to be, hey, they're selling counterfeits, is now, as I showed, is not just counterfeits, these are phishing. And the more convergence there will be of these threats, and the magnitude and the volume of this attacks will rise, we're going to be more busy. So I think that just as any company has a firewall, right? I believe that every company would need an online threat hunting and a brand protection service. And what we are all doing in the last year, and this would be our vision, is to make sure that we reach every company that needs us, hopefully, by the way, in advance, before they're getting hit, show them the risk, get them on board so we can help them face this risk.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Well, look, thank you very much for your time. You've been very generous with your time. It's a fascinating service that you guys do. There's no doubt. I mean, every day must be different, right?
You wouldn't imagine.
I'd imagine. It sounds great. Really, really cool stuff. Especially because, like you mentioned, there's lots of different kind of departments connected, which kind of makes it even more interesting, I think. But cool, good stuff. If people want to get in touch, do they just they can hit the website? I guess they can get in touch with you personally as well, right?
Definitely. www.brandshield.com. That's where you can find us. We would love to assist anyone that needs us. And you can find me on my LinkedIn page.
Yeah.
Itai Galmor. Looking forward to meet you, everybody.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.